There is no end to the way our politicians will find ways to use our money and waste our money. And, you've got to blame the politicians because you can't blame the actual thieves. Thieves are going to steal if the money is lying around. And the government makes it particularly easy in some respects. This time around, it's the Ministry of Transport, Minister Barbara Creecy. In the country's infinite wisdom, they decided to set up yet another body called the Transport Economic Regulator. The job of the Transport Economic Regulator is that they will decide things like transport pricing, competition, subsidies, etc. We've got used to hearing about the electricity regulator telling Eskom what they can't and cannot charge and the increases they can have. Well, it's a similar kind of organization that they envisage setting up for Transnet, which is a bit of a joke because Transnet doesn't really work. So what exactly are you going to regulate? Because it's very hard to do any business with Transnet at all after it was hollowed out. So anyway, everybody decides it's a good idea to have yet another group of people earning millions of our taxpayer rands and sitting in a room where they're just going to tick anyway, But anyway, listen to this one. It's an absolute beauty. The cabinet under that person who's still going to face her own day in court, Kumbutsa Ntshavheni, who's linked to massive corruption in the Palabora municipality when she was an official there. But she's President Ramaphosa's little right-hand girl, announced that the Ministry of Transport had appointed 6 people to serve on the board of this transport regulator. They announced this on Thursday. By Friday, all the names were gone. What was announced the day before, suddenly the next day they're gone. But you got to see the 6 people that they actually appointed. And you've got to imagine that really intelligent people apparently sat in a room, decided this was going to be good, and everybody, you and I, are going to be just fine with this. Let me just give you some beauties that appear on their list. The first one is a former CEO of Transnet Freight Rail. His name is Ravi Nair. Only problem is that Mr. Nair was there when, the hollowing out, where the state capture of Transnet happened. He worked at Freight Rail when they were buying trains that were too tall for the bridges. When Transnet was busy imploding, he was a CEO. He was suspended. And eventually it was settled, and he kind of went away quietly. No big noise, but no, I'm guilty, no, I'm not guilty. He just went away. But suddenly he gets appointed to this regulator. Okay, that was never going to work. Then they needed 2 economists. So they get Ethel Tellier and Fatima Sheikh from Lungiswa Energy, when the rules say only one person from a company. So immediately a bit of a problem. The next is Balabeche Zondi. No transport experience, but she did serve on the board of the SA Weather Service. So not sure how she's going to work with the transport regulator. The next one's a doozy. A chap by the name of Vincent Blennies. Now this guy clearly helps to have a few friends, because last December he was appointed to the board of SA Boxing. Boxing, like as in the sport. Minister of Sports, Art and Culture happens to be Gayton McKenzie. Why the government's appointing a board of SA Boxing, heaven alone knows. I don't see the American government appointing the board of UFC, but anyway, this is South Africa. He was appointed as CEO of Boxing SA. He was only there for a month, for 2 or 3 months. And then he resigns to be appointed as the CEO of the National Film and Video Federation. These are the people in charge of creating content. Once again, in normal countries, this is a private sector activity. Government doesn't have to be involved. But Mr. Blennies then resigned just over a month later, because there were reports of him undertaking excessive spending at the Cannes Film Festival. And the 6th member of the board got the right name, Lucky Takisho. Must be lucky, because the lawyer from Tshwane. The problem is that he used to work for the SABC, and he had a run-in with the Portfolio Committee on Communications when he withheld information from them. This was back in the cloudy Motsoeneng era. So if you tried, do you think if you tried really hard, you could find a less appropriate board for a very serious job? How stupid do our politicians think we are? But I've got to say that something's changed, because they announced this board. Sorry, I can't stop. If I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. How stupid are our politicians that they think that this is going to pass and everybody's going to be happy with these 6 compromised individuals. Little wonder that within 24 hours from the announcement of this board to nothing on the website, the board has been withdrawn. No announcement, no hello, no goodbye. But I've got to say, this Ministry of Transport's an interesting one, because it just keeps on coming up. We keep on hearing how wonderful Barbara Creasy is as Minister of Transport. We don't see it in the numbers. We don't see it in the performance. Maybe she's a very nice person or something. Everybody talks highly of her. I'd love to see some action. But we'll keep an eye on rubbish like this, where a board gets elected that's going to earn millions of our tax money, and not one of them is up to the job. So let's see how it goes in future. Here at the Political Insider, we're going to keep on trying to sneak in to find those little bits of information that are there, but they're kind of hidden away a little bit. So please keep on watching us, and you'll see more of this kind of information. Subscribe to the Political Insider. We'll see you again soon.